On today's episode of Wrong Side, the Buckeyes are national championship bound. The goal we have been striving for all year finally here on Monday, January 20th. NFL playoffs have commenced. We'll review the games from Super Wildcard Weekend and the outlook moving forward. Clutch Moment of the Week brought to you by Shore Metals and Outside the Line. In a world full of champions, we find ourselves on the wrong side.
Welcome back, Wrong Siders. Happy Wrong Side Wednesday. Today is January 15th, and the Ohio State Buckeyes are going to the national championship game in Hotlanta, where they will have to avenge one more last demon in the Irish and in a stadium that's been proven to be a tough one for the Buckeyes. We're excited. We're going. We're going to talk about the game in a little. Joey, before we dive into the semifinal weekend, first initial thoughts. Quick thought before we dive into all the games.
It's finally here. It never felt like it would ever get here. Just think about where we were just about a couple months ago in the last week in November after that cold Michigan game. I never thought we'd be here. I feel like that was a lifetime ago, and I'm a new man from it. I'm excited to dive in and talk about the matchup. I think there are some traps the Buckeyes could fall into from the Irish, but first, we're going to review their win versus the Penn State Nittany Lions. So I'm psyched, Michael. How about you?
Very psyched. Before we dive in, I will say the last thing before we fully dive into the Buckeyes in a little. I will say when it was 21-14, I was getting a little nervous just because not only the score and obviously everything that was going on around it, but I was getting nervous. We hadn't recorded an episode since before Tennessee. I didn't want it to be us. I didn't want us to be the jinx that we recorded an episode back from the holidays, so I was nervous about that. But luckily we won, so at least we know we got that back. And we're going to dive into the games. Semifinal weekend was here. We had the Orange Bowl in Florida starting us off on a Thursday night. And first off, I will say before we dive into actual game footage and stats and everything, I despise the NCAA. Thursday and Friday night games. I know they're terrified of the NFL. I know usually this really isn't a major issue for college football, in my opinion, because over the last 10 years before the 12-team playoff, the game was on the 10th or like that first Monday back at school, and that was right after week 18 for the NFL, so it really wasn't a big issue in my opinion. But that being said, hate that it's Thursday, Friday. Friday, at least for us, like at least Friday game is a little better. Like you're off work, it's the weekend, but like the Thursday night game, I was still working. Like I had it on while I was working till about 6. That just sucks. So that's my one complaint for the semifinal weekend was timing of the game. But that's all I'll say about that. Other than that, Notre Dame, Penn State. Penn State wins not Penn State. Notre Dame wins an instant classic. One of the best fourth quarters in college football history that I can remember. Because, in my opinion, stinker of a first 3 quarters, a big stinker.
Oh yeah, exactly what we thought it was all going to be. Like a real Big Ten gritty game. What was the score at halftime? It was
I think it was 10s. Oh no, was it 10-0? I thought it was 10-10 at the half.
Yeah, I think it was 10-10 at the half. Not a lot of points. Final score 27.
Or you know what? It was 10-3. 10-3. They kicked the field goal. 10-3 to end the half. That was a big play. The momentum shifter was that play, 10-3. And then it was 10-10 going into the fourth.
Yeah, 10-10 heading into the fourth. Final score 27-24 Notre Dame. I was on Notre Dame the entire time. Marcus Freeman, he has the boys in a good spot, except for their lost versus Northern Illinois this year, which is really funny to say that they lost to Northern Illinois. Now they're in the national championship. To think how that would have went in previous years without the 12-team playoff is funny to think about. But Marcus Freeman has the boys going, and death, taxes, Penn State choking in big moments. I will shout out Abdul Carter and the Penn State defense. They had a great day. They're a tough bunch. They showed that they were a tough bunch all year, but they're the most Big Ten offense possible. There were, in the regular season of college football, there were 2 teams that had 2 running backs have 850 plus rushing yards. And that was the Buckeyes with Quinshawn and Travion and Penn State. So they can run the football. But James Franklin has said it all year. They don't have athletes on the outside. They don't have a winner on the outside. They are Big Ten. They got good trenches, good defense, good running, no athletes on the outside. So Penn State is what we all thought they were. The 12-team playoff was made for teams like them. They were able to get a favorable draw in those first two games to make it all the way to the semifinals. So props to them. They've never been a bad team. Like we said,
They're just
in
stuck.
past years,
Stuck.
yeah,
in
they
those
were just
years.
stuck. 10 wins, losses to Ohio State and Michigan every year. So good to see them have a crack at it. But death, taxes, Penn State choking in big moments. So I can't say I'm shocked, but I will shout out the Fighting Irish here. Penn State tied the game with 14 minutes to go in the fourth quarter after it being it was 10-10 right about then. After Penn State scores, intercepts Riley Leonard on the next play and scores again. That's how I think it got to 17-17 in the fourth quarter. Riley Leonard, not necessarily the best passer. His 223 yards, I believe it was his second most all year. So
Wow.
Pretty impressive day for him, but he threw a couple interceptions, obviously was banged up for part of that game. And they were able to rally after a lot of momentum by Penn State scoring off of that interception. So I will give props. Marcus Freeman, he has everyone. They have a good mental. They are just a mature, poised team, and they'll be a tough out in the national championship game.
Yeah, I think it was a very Big Ten game, like you mentioned. It was defenses were flying early. I felt like both sides were playing very well. I think coming into this entire playoff run, but especially these last two games coming into the semi and the final, it was going to be tough because Riley Leonard, everyone said if they go down 10-0, it's going to be tough to win a game. It's going to be tough to come back. It's going to be all this kind of stuff. Wow, a doink for Washington, as we're recording this, a doink for Washington to bang it in and win the game. Jaden Daniels takes the Washington Commanders to the next round. We'll get into the NFL playoffs after this, but what a finish right now as this. Bad for Bears fans, great for Commander fans. But back to college football. We'll dive into NFL in a bit. But that being said, defenses are flying. I think James Franklin moves to like 1-18 or something in top 10 games or like top 5 games. He's terrible in those games. So that's insane. Franklin was bad. Drew Aller, I felt like leading up into this game had all the hype in the world. They were saying maybe he should remove himself from coming back and go back into the draft, something like that. And he shut down his pants. Really bad in the second half. A terrible interception to end the game, basically. He kind of
got hit as he threw. I know, it wasn't a good decision.
But his answer in the post game was terrible. I thought that he was like, I tried to throw it at his feet. Like, that doesn't look like a throw you're trying to throw at someone's feet and miss on purpose. But like, I don't know. That was just, to me, that was crazy. But bad game, but Marcus Freeman, they're playing hard for Marcus Freeman. I think they are a very good team. Personally, I said going into the Final Four, I thought their defense was just as good, maybe even better than Texas's. I thought they were very good. They blitz well. Their linebackers play really well. They are incredible in man coverage. I don't know what they're going to design up for us, but they're incredible in man coverage. So definitely going to be a challenge, but another heartbreaker for Penn State. What I was reading throughout the fans and everything going on with them was, they said it themselves. Even Penn State diehard fans were saying, this one's going to hurt more than others because not only did you get to this point and you were that close to making it to the Natty, but they got arguably the most favorable draw in the entire playoff. And realistically, if I were to guess moving forward, this top 12 team playoff is going to change maybe immediately next year with the bye situation and everything. They might never get a route like this again. That was always the craziest thing I thought was they lost the Big Ten game, and we said maybe Oregon should have just lost the Big Ten game and not won that game because they ran into the Ohio State wagon. But they lose to Ohio State and Oregon, their two biggest games, and they get the most favorable schedule. They can't even win it out here. And just a heartbreaker for Penn State. And Notre Dame is going to be a very good game. Riley Leonard hit a great play on that one. I know it was a wide open, but still he noticed that guy was open. He had a big play on third down to get them in the field goal range. Very, very good game for the Fighting Irish, I thought.
Yeah, special shout out to Jeremiah Love as well. I don't remember what his yards were to finish that game, but he was banged up, questionable to play, played the whole game with a knee brace, and still was making some of the most athletic plays I may have ever seen in my life. So We'll see what his health is heading into the Natty, but he'll still be a problem. They're going to be a tough team. They can run the ball. They play great defense, and they're just a sound football team. They don't make mistakes. Where a team like Penn State, they do make mistakes in those games. Penn State will be weird. I kind of want to spin zone this because you're right. They will never get a playoff draw like this again. We'll see if they're able to like change the format next year if it takes a couple of years, but there's no way this is going to happen again. And Penn State, they've lived in this territory, this stuck territory for years now, where they are able to take care of business in the games that they're supposed to win. Even though they were seated lower because they lost that Big Ten championship game, they were still favorites against Boise State and SMU. Those were games they were supposed to win. There was a home playoff game, and then Arizona State, they were favorites there as well. So Penn State's still living in the area where they've done everything they're supposed to do, but can they break through? Obviously, they don't have quite the expectations that the Buckeyes have, that they should win every single game they play, but they have yet to have a staple win in James Franklin's time there. So he's a national.
I don't even know what his biggest win could be.
There was, I think, one win against Ohio State. He's like 1 in 13, 15, 18 in those top 5, top 10 games. I don't know what happened in that Ohio State game, but that's the only win he has. So I know it's back to kind of the Ryan Day conversation. It's hard to say you want to like fire James Franklin after a national semifinal appearance, but they're the exact same team they always have been. So I am not envious of Penn State fans. I know we complain. We're always on the wrong side. Our teams are pretty bad.
Right. Yeah, they are.
Too. They are very wrong side all the time. So Notre Dame moves on. Former Buckeye Marcus Freeman marches in to the Georgia Superdome against the Buckeyes, and we'll see how it goes. But they're going to be a tough out, and I'm very interested to dive in there.
I'm pretty sure this is Marcus Freeman's 3rd season with Notre Dame. I'm pretty sure, and
I believe so.
And he's 0-2, right? We've beaten them twice. So
I've been in attendance for both of those games. Also,
I've been in attendance for one, but that is something to keep an eye on. 2 games. One last year, obviously, is the infamous Ryan Day, Lou Holtz game at the end, and a drive by Kyle McCord that led to the Chip Trainum run at the end of the game.
10 guys on the field on the final play.
10 guys in the field. So a lot of things. And the year before, I feel like it was closer than the score
was like
kind of
21
indicated.
To 10. Maybe we ran away with it, but
yeah. So that's what I'm saying. I think the score was closer than we think. But it's going to be a big one. We're going to talk about that preview, I think, right after we talk about the OSU game. But I'm not willing to write off Notre Dame. I think that Texas had a better offense. I'll give them that. Than Notre Dame. But I think this defense flies. They get a ton of turnovers. I think I saw this was their 8th or 9th pick. Maybe
in the playoff.
In the playoff. Like,
yeah.
So to me, that's
they were able to get turnovers in bunches. I know SMU
they were
like 3, and the Boise State quarterback threw a couple late.
They were, but
a
still,
little bit of a scuff number, but still
turnovers still good. They got some against Penn State, which were big. So that's important. So I know they get the turnovers. They're a very clean team, and I wouldn't compare them identically to Michigan, but a very similar game where they're going to play the run game. They're going to try to control the game on the ground. They're going to try to put themselves in their position. But I don't know. It's going to be a good game, so something to monitor. But Notre Dame wins the Orange Bowl. I don't know what the hell was going on at the post game with Marcus Freeman and Molly McGrath, but something was going on there. I'll die on that hill, and I think you were agreeing with me because I was texting you during it.
Multiple people called that out. They were playing eye tag over there. Marcus Freeman
the whole game, even pregame.
Oh man,
like the sideline interview before the game. Like, Marcus, how are you feeling? So I don't know. It's something to monitor there, in my opinion. But going to be a good game. Penn State going home again. Probably their best chance they're going to have, I think. And we'll see. We will see how they come back next year. Obviously, they're not firing James Franklin, so going to be interesting to look at.
Drew Aller likely coming back. I never understood why he looked good against Boise State. He's
coming back now. I think he's coming back now.
How is he almost a top 3 pick and now he's coming back? Like, the hype just didn't make any sense to me. Like, he looks good at times, but it just made no sense.
I don't understand at all, because before the playoffs even started, like, he was committing to coming back. He announced he was coming back, and then he had 2 great games, and it was like, well, if he says he wants to be a Brown, then he's gonna declare, and they want. So then I was like, what just happened? And then he came back, and then everyone was like, well, he's probably going back to college. But they need to figure something out, I think, on the Penn State side. They play a completely different game, in my opinion, than when they play Michigan or Ohio State. Every game in this playoff run was completely different. I have never seen Aller throw in the 2 years we've played them. I've never seen Aller throw like he did all throughout the playoffs. So I agree. It makes no sense. I don't know what's going on. So something was up there, but I don't know. Something to look at for next year. But Penn State's going home.
Last stat on that game, Penn State's leading wide receiver had 2 catches for 21 yards. Tyler Warren had Tyler Warren was their leading receiver, and then Singleton.
Yeah,
and then I think a wide receiver was 2 catches for 21. So their leading wide receiver. Their leading receiver.
I don't think there were
Tyler
any.
Warren.
No, I don't think there was. I think it was 0. I think it was 0 because I think it's 85 is a backup tight end. They play 2 tight end sets. It's him and Warren play together.
Uh-huh. Then that's insane.
Is that who it was?
I believe yes, I think so.
So they had 0 catches for 0 wide receiver.
It makes absolutely. They need one. Maybe we just keep getting the 5-star recruits to Ohio State so they can't have literally any. So respect to Ryan Day, the recruiting master again.
Fleming.
Penn State's going home.
I didn't even see him blocking.
I know. Buckeye time here. What a game. Ohio State, Texas. One of. I don't even know where to start here, man. I was in, I was out, I was happy, I was sad. I thought we had it, I thought we didn't. I don't think we played particularly well, and I was getting heat for that from you and Moops in the group chat after the game.
Well, we weren't giving hate for that. You said this game stunk. You said the direct word was this game stunk, and we said it did not stink. That doesn't mean the game stunk. That doesn't mean that because the defense was arguably perfect. The defense was fantastic. You can't say that.
Defense was real good,
and the offense still put up 21 points.
Anywho, you go first. Then what did you think? I think it was scary. I think we were a little tight, but let's go break it down.
I think first off, credit to everybody on that team. Credit to everyone. Credit to the seniors. Credit to Ryan Day. Hell, I'll even give the credit where I hate giving credits due to this guy. I credit to freaking Justin Fry. Credit to him. The O-line has looked good. I know Will got sacked once, but that was the first sack in 3 games in the playoff against good teams. He's going to have another tough test coming. Josh Simmons obviously is out this season, and Donovan Jackson moves to left tackle. Fantastic. He's going to potentially have 2 guys go in the first round that were there. So I have to give Justin Fry his credit. As much as I don't like Justin Fry, he doesn't recruit well at all. Got to give him his credit. So that's where I'll give credit first to the whole entire team. Jaden Fielding made his extra points. Ryan Day played well. Ryan Day coached well. Jim Knowles, you're a wizard, Jim Knowles. I don't know. I'm glad. I will say I'm glad Jim Knowles is on the older side because I don't know how many teams would want to hire him. So that's good. I like that he's older because I don't know if he wants to get back into head coaching again. So that's good. But I thought the game was unbelievable. Fantastic game. The Buckeyes, in my opinion, it may have looked like they were tight at times, but there wasn't one category, one stat, where either statistically they were better than us, or B, I didn't think they looked better at us than anything. I didn't think they looked better in the air. I didn't think they looked better on the ground. I didn't think they looked better defensively. I didn't think Sark was coaching well enough. I thought we outplayed them in almost every aspect of the game. We started the game off 7-0, so strong. One part I will agree with is that I will say that we were shooting themselves in the foot. And as I'm recording this, I'm getting a text. Unfortunate news. Jake Sharber just said he did not get a ticket for the national championship.
No.
I guess he was not one of the ones to get a ticket. So that's a big bummer for Jake and his friends.
Do they not know that he is wrong side's perfect boy, our perfect
I don't
child?
know. And it looks like his friends look like he didn't get any as well. But unbelievable. Bad for our wrong side youngsters.
Very bad.
I feel bad for them as the texts are coming into me. But I will say the Buckeyes were great.
You're going to agree with me on something before you change the subject.
I agree with you.
I agree with me.
I agreed that we shot ourselves in the foot. That's what I agreed with you.
Okay.
That's what I agreed with you.
Yes.
That was the only thing that I'm agreeing with you because the offense, better stats, we looked better. Even if we didn't look perfect, we looked better than them. Defense, we looked better. Special teams, we looked better. Every aspect of the game, I thought we looked better.
That early offense, I guess they didn't have a lot of offense.
Here's why I think.
Okay.
Here's why I think.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody needed to come back down to earth. And that's the honest truth. Everybody needed to come back down to earth, and I think 90% of the fan base did not come back down to earth. We were expecting another 21-0 first quarter, blowing team out, and we were just going to walk our way to Natty. It would have been, but we were expecting that. And I think and I was not part of the 90%. I'm willing to admit I was not part of the 90% because if you were dumb enough to think we were, then you were not thinking right. This was a semifinal game. This is a tougher team. The best team, in my opinion, that we were going to play. I said it last week on the pod. I thought they matched up with us a lot better than Oregon did. I felt like their 100%. Secondary and their D-line was a lot better than Oregon. So that's why I said that. So I think everyone was like, oh my God, we look like crap. It's 7-0 in the first. Well, guess what? We still won the first quarter, and that's a normal football game. We weren't going to be up 21-0 in every single game. Then we were up at the half. The only concerning thing I'll say, really the only concerning thing other than shooting ourselves in the foot from all the freaking unsportsmanlike conducts and holdings. And for some reason we got like 2 holdings, but they didn't get any. And I mean, right. I don't know what was going on there, but the one concerning stat, it's not like even that concerning, was, to me, it was concerning because I've been tracking it all season, was we lost 7-0 in the third quarter. To me, that was concerning.
Because we were giving it away. We turned the ball over to start the third quarter. We turned the ball over. Crazy.
So that part was concerning to me. But other than that, we won the fourth quarter 14-0. We won the first half. We tied, it was a great game. It was a great game, a gritty game. I thought that going into the game, I said last week as well, that one benefit or worry to think about is that we've blown out teams and they've just played a really tough game against Arizona State.
Yeah.
So they had been in that situation before. They kind of had the feelings and that pressure, and realistically they had a home crowd. I know it wasn't at UT, but they had the home crowd. I called Jake before this.
You could tell on the broadcast.
Jake said it was 80-20 Texas. That's what he felt like.
Yeah, I believe it.
So crazy to think about, but incredible game.
So a couple things I agree. Incredible game. Everyone was able to step up. The other team threw punches. We were able to take them and bounce back, which is not always the case in the last few years for Ohio State. Penalty-wise, Buckeyes, 9 penalties, 75 yards. Texas, 5 penalties, 54 yards, highlighted by the 15-yard unnecessary roughness or unsportsmanlike conduct on Travion, which was just the most absurd thing I've ever seen. Jesus loves you. Travion had an unsportsmanlike penalty.
I believe I am riding. I will die on this hill that guy said something to him. That would Travion Henderson would never. Someone had to said something that really ticked him off, really gotten under his skin. To me, that I think it was so out of the blue. I was like, so unlike him.
It was still early in the game. So unlike him, it was still early in the game. We had a couple other penalties. Like, it was kind of a tough sequence right around there, and I was like, oh my God, the wheels are falling off. And then big penalty for Texas. 15-yard taunting penalty. I think that was on a big play. The tight end throwing Caleb Downs to the ground on the sideline and then pointing at him. Kind of a weak taunting call, but the worst taunting call of all time went against the Bears, so I'll take any taunting call I can get. Early in the game, a few uncharacteristic drops, a few tough attempts there was Jeremiah Smith. We scored soon after. It wasn't like right in his hands, but it was kind of catchable. Carnell Tate had a ball, hit his hands in the end zone. That didn't get caught. A couple drops here and there, but Will was firing
terrible.
Egbuka, a couple drops.
Early.
Yeah. Egbuka, I think a drop or two early. Will looked great. He was layering them like right out in front of our guys. He looked fantastic early. Obviously, the interception didn't look great, but they were their whole defense was shading towards Jeremiah Smith. So respect, you got to throw the ball to Foe, and we tried to do it. Wasn't able to happen. That's okay. We still won the football game. Another thing I'll call out, defensively, it made me so mad. Defense was nearly perfect. You're right. Their leading receiver was their running back. The amount of different screens, like they were able to take some screens and some underneath stuff for some good yardage, able to break a couple tackles and extend. And that just that should be your answer as defense. You cover everything deep, you come up, you rally, you tackle everything that's underneath. But just to watch them dink and dunk down the field they were never like stagnant on offense. I thought they were always able to like get a couple, some yards. And same with us. Like there was very rare, just like straight up 3 and outs, but just watching their little underneath shit get taken for first downs and conversions. There were some bad ones underneath. I felt like where it was like 3rd and 9 and they get it. And we have a couple plays. We have like the Jack Sawyer sack that's literally centimeters from Quinn being down, but he gets the ball off. That one made me so sad.
So that was another one where it was just like, oh, like this is gonna keep happening. Like there's no way this keeps happening. Like So that was tough. Hated to see that. And that was tough, but they battled. They battled. And it didn't matter. And, you know, we joked about it throughout the year, but first it was Nebraska, then it was Penn State, then it was Oregon once, then it was now Texas. We own that red zone. And I think there's a quote, if you go back a couple episodes, I think it's the Penn State, after the Penn State game in one of our episodes, I think it was Nebraska, then Penn State was our schedule.
Yes.
If you go back to that episode, I'm pretty sure I said, give the team the ball in the 5 and let us play defense.
You did. You said that a lot this year.
And they did it again. And what's crazy is it was very similar to Penn State. They got the PI, then they got the PI again. And to be honest with you, when we stuffed them, I didn't say anything. I wasn't like super confident, but when we stuffed them on first down, I kind of felt like, okay.
We dug in.
Okay, try it again. Like, let's try it again. Because in my mind, it was like, if they try it again and we stop them again, then I thought, then they have to throw. Now they're in this position as Penn State was, and we won that one. So I was like, try it again. And then they go with the toss play. And then
wasn't the toss third down?
Or
was it second down?
Second down.
Let me look.
Because then it was incomplete. Because it was second down. It was toss play. Third down was tipped by Jack. Jack tips it in the air. And that's why they don't call PI. That's why they don't call PI in that quick. Because everyone's like, why no PI? Why not? But if you watch the replay back of it, it's tipped at the line, which means PA is uneligible. You can't call PI. Right. So something there. And then obviously Jack Sawyer saves the day. Yeah.
So a wrong side and a right side early in the episode. So right side, the scene at Old Crow, big Ohio State bar right by Wrigley in Chicago, was like it was the moon landing. It was VE Day after World War II. It was everything you could need. We were hugging strangers. It was quite the scene. It was amazing.
Moops and I were going nuts at home.
It was insane. Wrong side. I was in the bathroom for the Travion Henderson halftime touchdown that totally changed and saved the game.
What?
I was in the bathroom. It's halftime. There's 13 seconds left. I'm expecting us to knee it out. I'm in the bathroom. I hear, I sprint out of the bathroom. I'm like, oh my God, we're back. I'm high-fiving.
You would have been, people. If I was there, you would have been, I think, sitting in the bathroom for the entire second half.
I was really thinking about it. After the interception, right after the half two, it was almost bad. So, I mean, it was just quite the scene. I'm not usually most times I've been to Old Crow, it's gone poorly. It was last year's Michigan game. It was this year's Oregon game. There's been plenty of other games.
We won.
Northwestern, we won. I wasn't at Old Crow for that game, though. We were in the stadium. So felt good to get a win in Old Crow. I would call it a stadium that I had demons to expunge. So it was good. Go. Didn't have to watch the whole game in the bathroom, but quite the vibe. All the OSU gang was there. So my other friends showed up. I wasn't much fun to talk to for them. They weren't rooting as hard as everybody else. So I was like, okay, like, hey, good to see you. Like, we got business to take care of.
Yeah,
so,
right.
Quite the day.
Yeah. My day was very different than that one. I was in Vegas all day for work. I woke up at 4 a.m. to go on a flight early. I was rocking my crew neck. I got to the client side. Obviously, people were asking me about the game, talking and saying good luck. I'm like, oh, thank you. Like, hopefully they pull it out. I'm making jokes. I'm like, oh, I don't need the luck. I'm not playing. But, I do need it as a fan. So I'm making fun.
I got so many texts. It was like I was playing. Like, nobody cares when we're playing Michigan. Like, obviously, we've been in this situation before. I got so many good luck texts. And I was like, yeah, it was wild.
So then it was a quick check. I was out of like the client's warehouse at about 11. I went and met lunch with my manager, had a great lunch with her. Got to the airport, was ready to go, and flight was delayed 30 minutes. I was in a bad mood because it was great, and then it was kickoff. Ended up getting on the flight, got off the flight. Moops picked me up. We drove home. We got back to my house right after the first Texas possession, so they went for it on fourth down, didn't get it. Luckily, we got a commercial. That commercial break was huge. It was like right when I was about one street from my house, so that was big because it got us home without missing any more of the game. We came home, the TV was on, watched it here. Moops, myself, my mom, some of our family friends just went nuts. When Sawyer made the play, we went nuts. It was up and down. Very similar vibe, though, to what you said. We're like, hey, how's it going? Move on. My mom was having like a side conversation, and I looked at her and I was like, will you stop it for a second? Like, can you talk at the commercial break? Like, let's lock in for a second. But incredible game. Incredible moment. Jake and his buddies went to the game. It was awesome.
Yeah.
For anybody who didn't see, Jake Sharber definitely got his air of screen time. And a lot of people were texting me about Jake on TV. I will say, definitely, I was making fun. That definitely eased my nerves. I'd be lying if I said it didn't ease my nerves a little, seeing someone I knew on TV. And I ended up seeing a girl I went to high school with. Her name was Haley. I also saw her at the Rose Bowl at halftime. She was sitting right next to Jake. And then Jake was right there before right before the pitch play. Jake was on TV looking definitely very stressed. So that was funny. A great picture, I thought. And surprisingly enough, if you go back and look at the picture, there's a nice horizontal picture of Jack running down the sideline. Jake and his buddies are in the background, and you see
like
them
front and center. They're like the front.
You see them.
They had crazy seats. Like, that was insane.
He told me because since his girlfriend and Logan's girlfriend are both seniors, they had lower seats than them. So they were high. So Jake and his buddies were up high, and they were kind of right next to the band because they do it by age. And when that happened, they texted them after the first quarter, like, there's nobody in front of us. Nobody's even sitting here. So they came down, got down there, watched the rest of the game there. So they're right next to the band.
That's awesome.
He said it was an unreal experience. Texas Live was awesome. And just a great game. And he said it was one of the craziest experiences he's ever had. And, hopefully the ticket, I know he texted us and said he didn't get one, but hopefully he gets there because I know he really wants to go and he's been rolling. Yeah. And so we'll see. But unbelievable. My last couple notes on the game, I will say, Will, great. I thought he was great outside the one pass.
Yep.
I thought he was fantastic. He played well. The run at the end, my God, it doesn't matter if it's Columbus, Texas, Michigan. It doesn't matter where the hell he's playing. Can we get him some cleats? Why does he keep slipping? I need to know. He was such a good runner at Kansas State.
No, it was tactical. We were able to burn more clock.
Yeah.
It was tactical.
That's what Moop said as well.
Oh, I was fine. Yeah.
Some other small key notes of the game. Jordan Hancock, didn't hear his name once, but I was watching some film today. Phenomenal game. Jordan Hancock made himself a lot of money this game. Caleb Downs obviously has the pick to end the game and stop. He gets the first. He's the first body on the toss play, even though he does get dribbled for a second on the stiff arm. He does get the first one there to slow him down. But he actually has another big play, in my opinion, which is just as big. He has a shoelace tackle earlier in the game, 7-0, going down the sideline. Also a great play. And the D-line was fantastic. JTT gutted it out with that ankle injury. Hopefully he's good to go for next week. Carnell Tate was fantastic. I know he had to drop, obviously, but to come in third guy on the depth chart and play that way, he played fantastic. I thought G had some big catches. JJ, that's okay. I'm okay with JJ.
Okay,
You got the Jamar Chase treatment as a 19-year-old kid in college. You're gonna get your work. Don't worry. They'll find a way. I honestly think JJ was the reason Will threw the pick. Not JJ's fault, but I think they were trying to get JJ the ball, and he threw into double coverage, and that's why he threw the pick.
For sure. Yeah.
I think it was we got to get JJ the ball, and that's what happened. That's what I think happened.
Yeah,
but
100%.
Awesome game. I mean, unbelievable game. My weekend was made. I wasn't in the NFL playoffs, so it was nice to have a win this weekend, but unbelievable weekend.
Unbelievable weekend. Now, job's still not finished. Heading to the national championship, like you said, a lot of memories in the Georgia Superdome for the Buckeyes. It's where, was the Natty against Bama there?
When we beat them in 2014?
No, when we lost to them when we were in college.
Oh, I don't know.
Obviously the main demon to expel there is the Georgia
we know the main
kick.
demon.
The missed kick against Georgia as the clock strikes midnight. But this matchup is very interesting to me.
Florida.
Obviously, it was Florida. Okay. The Buckeyes, we've been saying it for the last couple episodes. They have a new lease on life since the Michigan game. They're able to play a lot looser, they don't seem to be carrying the burden of Natty or bust that they were before that Michigan game. But when it comes to X's and O's, this game reminds me a lot of that matchup. And luckily, since we've seen something like this before, I'm really hoping that we're not going to make those same mistakes again. What were those mistakes? playing the game that the opponent wants to play. If we run the ball up the middle, I don't think Notre Dame has the defensive tackles that Michigan has, but they're still really damn good in the
very good
trenches
team.
on both sides of the ball. Special shout out, Riley Mills, captain and injured D tackle for Notre Dame, played in the North Suburban Conference, Lake Forest High School alum. Didn't know where he ended up. He had a lot of crazy offers when we were in high school, and saw him on the sideline at Notre Dame. So he's a captain now, so very impressed by him. But
he is hurt, but he had a great season. Hurt, but had a great season for them.
Yeah, so shout out another one of the hometown guys. But what does Notre Dame do well? They run we already talked about it. They play great defense. They have a great interior. They play man coverage really, really well, which I'm very intrigued what they're going to do. They run the football very well. Right. They run the football very well, and Riley Leonard had a pretty good day with the RPOs. Again, that was the second most yards he had thrown in a game all year. I know he had a couple big plays to do that, but that's what you got to do. Will Howard gets big plays too.
Sure.
As far as man coverage goes, you could still run man underneath and put a safety over the top of Jeremiah Smith the entire game and really try and take him away. But they're a talented team. But I don't think you can play full man coverage against the Buckeyes for 4 quarters. So do you know of any situations this year where they have switched to zone, where they have had to get out of it, or where they've gotten burned by sitting in man coverage? Because I would say I'd take our guys anytime, no matter who we're going up against, if it's man across the board.
Yeah, I really haven't dove completely into their film yet. That's going to be definitely what I look at this week. I did see a stat that talked about how we play versus how they play. I saw 60% of our snaps we play against the man, and and we play when we play against man. Will's numbers are unbelievable. Like I forgot what the stat was, but it's unbelievable as Will's numbers. So I hope they don't, but for their sake, I hope they find a way to figure that out. But it's going to be interesting because they will need to adjust pretty heavily, in my opinion. I think this is a very different team. Even the games they've played this playoff run, I didn't think Curtis Rourke and the Indiana offense was – I think Indiana's a good team, but I don't think their offense is obviously as dynamic, as quick as ours. They don't have as many weapons. Right. Even the second round, yes, they did play a good Georgia team, but the backup wasn't as – great, in my opinion. He had a couple good plays, but they weren't even running the ball well. Felt like they had no offense. And this one, Allard did get them going, but he kind of was faltered at times. I still think.
Right. I mean, they don't have anyone who's going to win at the receiver matchup.
So there's like that part of it, but I do think it's going to be very interesting to me. I think there's a lot of key things. I think this will be a game where Marcus Freeman's a good coach, in my opinion. I think he's very good. I'm very happy that it's not going to be, but my clutch moment of the week was almost the Chicago Bears for providing us with some outside noise, interviewing Marcus Freeman. So I did appreciate that. But that being said, it's going to be a very good game. I don't know his name, but I know his number 35 on Notre Dame. He's got the long hair, very talented edge linebacker, very talented. Yeah. But I think for this kind of game, and they said it against Penn State, it ended up working out for them. They didn't get in the hole as I wanted to. Talk about a game where you want to start fast, in my opinion. This is a game where I think if you start fast, you win the game quick. 14-0, making Riley Leonard throw the entire time, in my opinion, is going to provide a key to success for us. Along with that, with Riley Leonard, a very similar quarterback to quarterbacks we've played over the last couple of years. It's going to be a big game for Hancock's. Sonny Styles, I think, needs to have a big game. I know he's been the guy that's spied a lot this year as for the QB spy. He's going to have to be a guy who's on it because he runs well. Leonard is probably the best runner. I don't know. Would you say? I'd say he's the best runner we've faced all year.
Probably, yeah.
So I think Sonny Styles is going to have a big game. He's been playing a lot better. He had that huge hit on Gunnar Helm in the first half of the Texas game. But it's going to be a battle. Freeman versus Day. These are two coaches. Obviously, Freeman a lot younger than Day, but Freeman, year 3, coaching a very well team. It looks like his team, they know they're not the most talented, but they know that they're going to fight with every team they got. They've said it. He knows that they have a group of people, a group of guys that are going to fight, win every time they can get out there. And Jeremiah Love, providing us, my opinion, with a little bit of bulletin board material before the game even started, saying we want Ohio State, and that's risky, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely risky. I'm not sure if there's a lot of seniors on that team. I know Riley Leonard is a transfer as of this year, so some of those guys they've been thinking about the Buckeyes for a couple of years now. Like we said,
True.
Last 2 years we played them at Notre Dame and in Columbus, and we were able to win both those games. So there's probably some bulletin board material that we've given them over the last couple of years. I think I'm a little concerned about the run game. I think, like you said, if we go up 14-0,
our run game or their run game?
Our run game against their defense. like we said, starting fast is a key. You go up 21-0 in the first quarter, you're probably going to win that game. Is that always realistic? No, obviously. But I hope we're aggressive, and I hope we are able to run the football, because I felt like with Texas, it's another good team. It's a high-powered offense. It's really good DBs who are doing their best to take away our receivers. But when I say that we were playing tight, we really went back to a bit of a slower pace, leaning on the run a little bit. Texas, obviously, probably the best D-line that we have faced. Maybe not all year with Michigan being in there, obviously.
I would
but
say
Texas,
it's very good.
yeah, Texas made us work for it. Notre Dame will be the same way. So I hope that we're aggressive and we do what we've been talking about for weeks now, throw to set up the run, get them going, wear them out, grind them down, and then just run to put the game away. So we'll see what happens if we start the game running inside zone straight at 2 more first-round D tackles.
Right.
But I hope we continue to stay aggressive. I know we said that going into the Texas game, and we did. We did our best given the fact that they were blanketing all of our receivers. But like we said, it's the Michigan game. If you play into their hand and you make one mistake, you throw one interception, they have a special teams play. Special teams also going to be big. They've made a lot of special teams plays this playoffs.
They have a special team touchdown this playoff run as well. They have a good special teams.
Yeah, so you can't give up on them for 1 second, because if you let them hang around, they will. Then suddenly it's a one-score game in the fourth quarter, and anything can happen. So I hope belt to ass, take care of business, leave no doubt. Ryan Day has been saying that for all of the last 5 years that we have been doubting him. Now's the time. Leave no doubt. Put it away early. But Buckeyes, they're open at 9.5-point favorites. Largest spread we've had this playoff, which is pretty crazy. But I think obviously we're right where we want to be, but I think it's a favorable matchup if we're able to take control of the game early.
We play our game. I agree with you 100% that this will be the game that can win us the national title. They have to play their game. This is a game where I think we started incredibly fast the first 2 playoff games, and I think we started fast this playoff game. 7-0 was a great start. We made them force on fourth down. We scored. We did start fast. We just kind of shot ourselves in the foot the second and third drive of the game. But that being said, this is a game where I think it is a must. You do not want to get stuck in a dogfight with a team like this. This is like you said, that's where I agree. This is a team very similar to Michigan, where I don't want to get stuck in a team that will make us play that game, where they're running, eating the clock. Their drive is 9 minutes for 7 points, or something like that, and completely take us down. Not to say we can't score fast. I know we can, but you don't want to get in that position. So starting fast, doing that. I really, really want this one. Obviously, that's like out there. It's not like a secret. We all want to win this one, but I want it for Day. I want it for Day's wife. I want it for Day's kids. I want it for Day's family members. I want it for Day's grandkids that he's going to have one day. I mean, this is a win. I've been a Day defender for a long time, and
you have
a lot of people have given me shit for it, and I want him to get this one. I don't remember the exact numbers, but I saw a picture today from ESPN that was comparing Kirby Smart versus Ryan Day's first 5 years, and basically similar. Top 10 matchups, games against your rivals, so like Alabama, Georgia versus Michigan, Ohio State, very similar. And then Kirby Smart won a title in his 6 years. A lot of coaches win their title in their 6 years. So I really hope Ryan Day gets this one. Ryan Day deserves this. He works his ass off. This team, this senior group, deserves it. Moops and I were talking about it. This is going to be one of those teams where if they win it, they'll forever be immortalized. And I know it sucks with no Michigan win, but there'll be a group where I know almost every player on this team. And there's not many teams in my lifetime I could tell you the same thing. Like, obviously, you know the main guys, and you know a couple backups, and even the pros in the NFL. I know like the main Cowboy players, but there's some guys I'm like, I don't know who that is over the years. But This is a team where I know every single man on that roster. I know every single number. When someone gets subbed out, here comes X, here comes X. Go out, take what's yours, and leave no doubt. Leave no doubt, win in Georgia, come back with a national title, and Jack Sawyer, you're never going to have to pay for a drink again. I mean, unbelievable play. I'll say it a million times. Unbelievable play.
I was talking about where we were for the Michigan game. I mean, he obviously had a great game, and then
he was phenomenal that game too.
Phenomenal that game, to just crying on the field and the whole incident with the flag planting and everything. I would say it's fair to say he hadn't met expectations like up until the Michigan game for his entire career at Ohio State. He had some big games, some big numbers, but was never able to put up the dominance that he had expected to be as a recruit, a local kid, Ryan Day's first recruit. The story just writes itself. It's amazing.
Right. And they were roommates.
Guys. And they were roommates. We'll see what happens here. What is your plan for the game? I know a lot of people are talking Atlanta, Columbus. You got work and everything, so
Yeah,
I don't know what I'm doing yet.
My plan is not looking good right now. I'm supposed to be at the client site, and we're going to be
Oh,
there all day. So I'm going to wear my gear, and I'll bring my jersey, and bring my hat for the afternoon. I'm thinking about maybe like usually we get to the client site around like 9. I'm thinking about maybe getting there at 8 and like not going to lunch that day, and maybe like keep working, maybe so I
I
can like
respect it.
mess around because it sucks for me. It sucks for me because it's 4:30.
Pacific time sucks ass.
So it's like, well, it sucks ass when the NCAA wants to put championship games on a Monday. That's why it
That's
sucks
fair.
ass. Why we on
That's
Monday?
worse.
So Monday NCAA game, and so it sucks. 4:30. So I guess it would be like 4:45. I guess we'll give it a little, but I'll probably be there the entire game. So it's gonna be really tough in my
Wow.
opinion. But we gotta win this one. And I told my manager, me and him were texting, and I will shout him out. Not his name, but I will shout him out. I told him before the game that I think Parnell was first touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, okay, I'm going to take it. And both of us heartbroken during the game. So, but he said it's going to be good. I was making fun. I was like, my poor team is going to see me crash out in public. Like, I hate watching games like that where like I can't be myself. And it's like, and let me ask you this. I saw this take on Twitter. What do you think about this take? Big games at a bar. Big games at a bar. When it's your own team, not fun. When it's another big game at a bar, very fun. You can talk. You're watching the game.
Yeah.
Personally, I hate being in public for big games. Hate it.
Yeah, I wouldn't say my track record of big games in public is great, so I agree with you. Like I said, I mean, Oregon, we lost. Michigan, I was at Old Crow, we lost. So it's like a 10-minute walk away from my house. It's a huge bar. It's an OSU backer bar. So
what's your plan?
I don't know. My mom called me today, and she's like, "What? Like, are you going?" Because I said, like, I would love to be in Atlanta if I can. Ticket prices right now are crazy.
Oh my god, terrible! The ticket prices.
It's my
are
wrong
terrible.
side. Wrong side in advance is ticket prices. But if I'm here, most people in my life that are here and like not a college friend, like don't like Ohio State. So
Right.
to be with all of those people. Like my mom, she loves Ohio State. She's pretty much my only rider in the state of Illinois. To watch that game with everybody else would be my personal hell. Everyone's gonna be like, hey Joey, what are you doing? Like, where are we going? Is it gonna be my apartment, my parents' house? Like, what's the vibe gonna be? I have no idea.
Can't be your apartment.
Columbus is in play.
Can't be your apartment. I think
Can't
that's a recipe for disaster.
No, I've watched a couple other games. I watched the Indiana game here and the Tennessee.
Let me ask you
here.
this: are you off Monday?
No.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So yeah,
a lot of people are off. PwC is technically off, but we're going into work. That MLK Day is usually a day where you work and then you grab that holiday after busy season. Like you take that like next Friday off.
Oh.
So it's like, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, not a lot of people are watching their football team and it depending on their mental health, but realistically, that's what it'll be. So yeah, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough, but Buckeyes next week. Joey and I still trying to figure out how the recording is going to be next week, but it's hopefully going to be a happy one. Let's hope we get a happy one. And
maybe live from Atlanta. Hopefully it's live from Atlanta.
Maybe live from Atlanta. So Buckeyes, Irish next Monday. Going to be a good one. Before we go into our ad read, though, obviously the NFL playoffs started this week. We're going to do a quick rundown of that. The No Fun League. What do you think? Let's do some quick thoughts on each game. We'll start with the schedule of the weekend. Chargers, Texans. We'll start there. And I'll say it first. The Buckeyes kept winning. Finally for CJ.
I had the Chargers in this game. I thought Jim Harbaugh, he's won big games in the NFL before. They have a good team. The Texans they kind of stumbled their way into the playoff. A lot of injuries. Their O-line has not been looking great. And the Chargers got absolutely wrecked. Justin Herbert, bad for the narrative. I have been out on Justin Herbert all year. I've been getting flack in the hometown group chats for this. He's done nothing. He throws a good spiral. I'll give him that. He's a good-looking guy. He's funny. He seems personable. But I don't know if he's a franchise quarterback in this league. Every time he gets to be on the big stages, he seems to falter. The Texans' defense hasn't even been that good all year. Picked him off, what was it, 3 or 4 times? So
4 times yesterday.
4 times yesterday is brutal. Like that is a back-breaking like career. Like currently a career-defining game for Justin Herbert. So I was kind of shocked to see the Texans win. I think the Chiefs will make light work of the Texans. I'm not really too worried about that. For some reason, I think the Chargers with their defense and I guess with the theoretical Justin Herbert that I was thinking of, could have given the Chiefs a bit of a problem. But the Texans, like, their weapons are weak. Their O-line is questionable at times. Their defense is kind of all over the board. They won. It was a blowout, a boring game to start off a generally unexciting weekend of NFL football. But
I agree.
Justin Herbert, Jim Harbaugh, unquestioned success first year, playoff berth, no playoff win.
Whatever.
Definitely a huge improvement for the Chargers last year to this year. Ladd McConkey, one of 5 players to have, I think it was like 190. He had 197.
Yeah, unbelievable game.
Like one of 5 players to have that in their playoff debut. So Ladd McConkey, heck of a year for him as well. Justin Herbert, I think, is officially a question mark. Jim Harbaugh seems to have the boys pointed in the right direction, and the Texans move on. What do you think of that game?
Texans move on. I think for the Chargers, it's a guaranteed lock, in my opinion, that Colston Loveland is going to be their first-round pick. Herbert, congratulations. You are officially in Mr. If Man group. It's a pretty pristine group. It's Joe Burrow, Dak Prescott, Herbert. It's a good group, a good name group, but it's not a group you want to be in. It's a big Mr. If group. A lot of guys.
Lamar and Josh Allen in the what if group?
I would say yes at times, no at times, because like Lamar has the MVPs at least, so like there's that part of it which kind of pulls him out. But playoff
Does Josh Allen
win-wise,
have any MVPs?
no, zero.
Okay.
So at least the MVPs pull Lamar out of that a little, but same 2 playoff wins, nothing crazy, or 3 now I guess after this weekend, and another masterful quarterback that Josh Allen played against in Bo Nix. Another big win for him. But Houston moves on.
Good. They looked good.
He had one good drive. I think he had one good drive, and he ended up with like 100 passing yards. I think he had 45 on that touchdown. So
to former Oregon teammate Troy Franklin.
Yep. Oregon connection. Yep. Oregon keeps on losing. But for that game, great for CJ. I'm glad he beat Harbaugh and Jesse Minter. I was super happy for him. I thought the Chargers were going to win as well, but I was very happy for him. Can they beat KC? They lost by 1 score this season. It was close at times, so kind of interesting there. Something to monitor, in my opinion. It's going to be a good game. So Kansas City versus Houston. I know the schedule just dropped while we were going, so I'm going to look real quick and see what time they're playing at. Let me look real quickly. We got next weekend's schedule will be. Oh, why can't I find it? Hold on 1 second. Keep going. Okay, let's go to the next.
Texans, January 18th, 3:30 p.m. Bills, Ravens, the 19th at 5:30 p.m. So that is the 18th is the Saturday, the 19th is the Sunday. So the 18th will be Chiefs, Texans, and Lions, Commanders will be Saturday. Sunday will be Bills, Ravens, Eagles. And then Eagles versus the winner of the Vikings-Rams game.
Yep. Okay.
So
yeah, gonna be an interesting game. Excited to see it, but good for CJ. Happy for CJ. Another one for the Buckeyes. Night game stinker. I thought Steelers.
Stinker. I don't know Lamar's record currently versus the Steelers. I want to say heading into this year, it's not great. And the Steelers, I think, ended up 10, 11 wins on the season, have dropped like 5 or 6 in a row heading into the playoffs. Another team that's stumbling there. And thank God we don't have to watch this team for the rest of the year. They are like, I don't know what to do with them. They're abysmal to watch. Their defense is pretty good. You're obviously going to have a tough time trying to hold Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry to like practically 0 points because their offense is so bad. TJ Watt didn't record a single stat. I think he maybe drew a holding call in that game, but even he was quiet in that game. But
Steelers, did you see that stat where it was like 173 snaps? He didn't even have a pressure the last like 5 games or something.
Yeah, so he's kind of on fraud watch there. What do you do with Mike Tomlin? Another 10-win season. Russell Wilson looks serviceable. Justin Fields waiting in the wings, and an embarrassing loss to a divisional foe. He is currently 1 playoff loss away from, I think, is it tying? The one more will be tying. 1 more loss away from tying the longest playoff losing streak in NFL history, previously set by the Cincinnati Bengals' Marvin Lewis. So now you're putting him in that conversation. Mike Tomlin, great coach, never had a losing season. I would take him as the Bears head coach immediately. But Steelers, there's a certain expectation over there. I don't know what I really don't know what to do. Like, do you tank for a quarterback? Do you fire Mike Tomlin and completely reset new? How do you do this?
Yeah, they're in purgatory. They're in 10-win purgatory. I think they're a very
That's a crazy thing
similar.
to say, though.
Yeah, but I think
10-win
they're in a.
purgatory.
I mean, obviously this was not the year, but I think they were the last 5 years, for example. I think they were in a very similar spot than the Cowboys. Very similar spot where they were good enough to get to the playoffs, but they couldn't get past the first or second round, or they can't get a playoff win, or Dak won a wild card game 2 years ago. They were kind of stuck. You're kind of stuck in this weird purgatory with good record, but your coach might not be that great, and the team might not be that great. And some of the Tomlin things I saw this weekend were awful. Go ahead.
Well, I don't know if I'm allowing you to put the Cowboys and the Steelers in the same conversation, because the Cowboys, they've had the roster, they've had the stats.
I'm saying record, and where they're at. Because I don't think they've had the roster maybe once. I would say last year they had the roster.
The Steelers?
No, the Cowboys. I would say the Cowboys had the roster last year.
The Cowboys, yes, the Cowboys have had. I'm saying the Cowboys have had the roster the last 3 or 4 years. You've had Kenny Pickett, you've had Mason Rudolph. You have walked into a season or a playoff knowing that you don't have an offense that can take you there. The Cowboys have walked in with a top offense, undefeated at home that year, a home playoff game. So we don't need to dive into the Cowboys playoff history here, but they just don't have the roster to do it. I think they have the coaching, but not the roster.
To me, it's then why have they not then take a quarterback. Take a quarterback for once then. That's the issue.
20? Take Kyle McCord at 20?
Well, no. Well, Kyle McCord won't be a day 1 or day 2 pick. Let's put that out there right now. You can put that on the table.
Well, he had the most yards in the country this year.
Yeah, he was so good. I forgot. But Tomlin, I don't know. I don't know. I thought they were rolling with Fields, and then they went back to
he was
4-5-0.
Yeah, Fields was 4-5-0.
4-2 through 6 games, and I saw two crazy stats. Mike McCarthy and Jason Garrett have a playoff win more recently than Mike Tomlin.
That's crazy.
Tom Brady has 3 Super Bowls since Mike Tomlin's last playoff win. And they should just, and realistically, I will say when Dak was extended this offseason, right before kickoff for week 1.
Yeah.
I was had the Steelers a very high odds of getting him. I think Mike Tomlin really liked Dak. And I think he would have been perfect for them. It's a quarterback he likes. He's a big body, very similar. Doesn't run perfect, but he's a good quarterback. He's better than Russ or Fields. So
sure.
I thought he was going to be on their name. Then we signed him. He's gone. But they have to make a move. You're not going to win ever with either quarterback. Najee is 1,000 yards, but is it I don't know. Is it really 1,000?
What is a 1,000-yard season anymore?
Yeah, exactly. It's 50 yards a game or something like that. Someone did the math. It was 59 yards a game. So I don't know. I think you can't move on because I think if you move on, someone's going to snatch them up in maybe less than 24 hours.
But if the Bears were winning 10
out.
games a year and making the playoffs, we'd be in a very different spot as a city. I think we'd have flying cards here if that was happening.
I will say, as much as people dog on the offense, which is not good for Pittsburgh, I will say that.
Horrible.
The defense has struggled over the last month and a half. So the best part of their game has not been good either. So that's considered as well. But they need to get a quarterback, and I don't know when. I don't know if they trade up. I don't know if they go out and get someone. I don't know. Maybe this is I don't know if you go out. Maybe they get Sam Darnold. What about that idea?
Don't hate it. I've heard Rodgers get thrown around there.
Oh God, I think that's just as bad. Rodgers stinks.
That'd be pretty bad. That would be bad.
So I don't know. That game was a stinker though. Lamar played well. In my opinion, these kind of games are tough for the Lamar MVP argument. In my opinion, because they had Derrick Henry, he had a phenomenal game again. That's why I think they're going to vote for Josh. I think Josh doesn't have the weapons as much as Lamar does, and I don't know. So that's just my thought process of it. But
there's
Ravens.
There's 9 other Pro Bowlers on the Ravens. I think there may be 2 for the Bills. Maybe.
Yeah. Okay. So that's a good stat, but that's kind of my way of leaning Josh over Lamar for MVP. But obviously that's not the biggest conversation. But yeah, Ravens dominate. Ugly for the Steelers. I saw a stat also since December. The Steelers haven't led at all in games since the start of December. Not once. Not 3-0. Not 7-0. Not at the half. Haven't led once, which is a crazy stat. So
they're so bad, dude. They're so
Ravens
bad.
Ravens win, and they're the 2 seed, right? Ravens are the 2 seed or the 3 seed? Maybe that's 3. I think Buffalo's the 2.
Buffalo's the 2 seed. Ravens are the 3 seed. They will meet next Sunday at 5:30 p.m.
Yep, they are going to Buffalo, and Josh Allen, he looked good. Kind of a slow start for the first half. I
Slow
felt like
start.
Josh
I was not concerned, but they hung around. It was 10-7 for seemingly like that entire game.
the entire
So,
half, the entire half was
yeah,
10-7. So
Denver's got a good defense. You're going to see another good defense in Baltimore next week. Josh Allen continues to impress, limiting turnovers to 0 this game. But a rookie quarterback, Sean Payton, obviously another great coach, like made it difficult for as long as you can. But it's a young team. It's a rookie quarterback. Bo Nix finished the game with 13 for 22 for 144 yards and a touchdown. So not a great day. We're right where we expected to be. Bills, Ravens. It should be. I'm hoping for a little Chiefs, Rams Monday Night Football game of the year. Maybe a lot of points. The Bills defense does worry me. They've given up 40 plus points multiple times this year. They've been able to win because Josh Allen is a superhero, but now you're facing another superhero in Lamar Jackson on the other side of the ball. So the Bills defense also a questionable run defense. So I don't know if there is a line on this game out. There definitely is. It's only 1 point.
yeah,
Ravens are
I
1
believe
point
it.
dogs.
Yeah, I believe it. It's going to be a battle. This is a big game for both of them, in my opinion. A big game for both of them. Lamar can either get a huge win over Josh in the playoffs and get to another AFC championship, or Josh gets another chance and Lamar losing this game. I think there's more to lose for Lamar than there is for Josh right now in this game, my personal opinion.
It's close. The Ravens were 12-5 this year. The Bills 13-4.
Well,
Lamar,
I don't even care. Record goes out the window, in my opinion. I think for this is a much bigger game for Lamar. Lamar has to win this. He's 3-5, 3-6, whatever he is in the playoffs. Josh has won the playoffs. He's gotten that AFC game before. I know Lamar did last year.
What,
but
once? What did you say? Josh Allen made the AFC championship
once,
game one time?
Once. But so did he. So did Lamar. They both have.
Yeah.
But Lamar has really Lamar's lost games to other people but the Chiefs.
Right.
Versus like Josh is losing to the Chiefs. So I think there's more to lose for Lamar, especially this is a big MVP game. I know people say, oh, their vote's already in, but really votes aren't due, I think, for another couple weeks. So people can still have their chance. I know it's like regular season based, but you never know.
Playoffs should count. Playoffs should count for all MVPs.
They shouldn't.
I think they should.
No, they shouldn't. That's dumb because how could you say that for what, every sport or just football? Like
every sport, every
dumb.
MVP.
That's dumb because
people basically do it anyways. And when is the last time you've given an MVP to a player that didn't make the playoffs? Oh,
Trout,
probably Shohei Ohtani, Mike Trout,
Shohei, and they were the most valuable players.
Baseball's
no, it's not.
Sport.
It's the smartest sport. People are just haters because they have no patience.
Nerd sport. Not baseball then, but playoffs should count.
NBA? Really? NBA?
Yes.
Embiid? Did he really deserve that MVP?
No, not for his performance in the playoffs.
But he was the best in the regular season. It's there's a playoff MVP.
Now there is. That's like
always have been in the conference finals and the finals, but you have to get to the conference finals to get it.
Well, then that's just like the series final. It's different.
How about
like a best tournament player?
How about Andre Iguodala? Was that the MVP one year?
He was a finals MVP, but that's not a playoff MVP. That's just for the finals.
Was he the best player of that finals?
No.
So that's what I'm saying. That's stupid. That's what I'm saying. So
they should.
I think that's going to be the biggest game of the season for both of them. I still think the Bills win, though. I still think the Bills win.
I'd say I go with the Ravens. I think the run game, Derrick Henry pushes them over the hump. They're able to beat Josh Allen. The run game is too much for the Bills defense. I give it to the Ravens.
All right. That'll be a good game. It'll be the best game of the weekend, in my opinion.
Should be.
Sunday games.
Eagles
rest
could
of the
probably
Sunday
make everything
games.
interesting.
Rest of the Sunday games I thought were good, not great. Eagles, Packers. Eagles won.
Super Bowl. Super Bowl Sunday is here.
Is that when the Packers lose?
Yes, the Super Bowl for Bears fans is every year when the Packers lose in the playoffs because they're never actually that good. Jordan Love is hot ass. I would say right now, if you're starting a franchise from scratch with all the players, you take Caleb Williams over Jordan Love every single time. He is hot ass.
Well, I would say yes, probably because he's 5 years younger, probably. And number two,
he's just better.
First of all, number two, Jordan Love's weapons are not as good as I think than
I don't know. Some people a couple weeks ago said the Bears have the worst receiving core in the league. That's what I was hearing.
But the Packers do not have a good receiving core.
They had 5 wide receiver twos. They had 5 good wide receiver twos as of this year. Great tight ends.
But you got so what? You guys have then what? 3 wide receiver 2s and 1 wide
No,
receiver 1.
we have all bad wide receiver 3s.
Either
They're
way,
bad. Jordan Love is bad.
he had a bad game. He didn't have a great year.
Nope, he's
The
bad.
thing with the NFL especially is they're too quick to crown and they're too quick to say bad. In my opinion, a lot of people dog CJ this year, but CJ had a great playoff game in my opinion. A lot of people crown Jordan Love. A lot of people crown Jordan Love after his one playoff win against Dallas last year. He wasn't that great, but they're continually propping up Herbert, for example. They continuing to prop up good quarterbacks that aren't that great, in my opinion. So I think the NFL has a QB evaluation problem, and that's really the issue. And everyone is just too social media driven, too recency bias driven. There's no real stat.
Jordan Love this
anymore.
year had 25 touchdowns and 11 interceptions and missed a good chunk of games.
I'm not saying that's great, but I'm saying it's not terrible. It's not a terrible year.
19th in yards, 10th in touchdowns, 11 interceptions. They don't have that ranking, and 5th in QBR. Not great.
That's a good stat. That last one's pretty good. 5th in QBR is pretty good.
Dumb. What does QBR mean, Michael?
Quarterback ranking. It's how they perform during the game and how they're passing.
What is it actually? What does QBR mean?
Efficient passing, how they do, air yards, all that stuff.
There was Josh Allen threw a touchdown pass last week that dropped his QBR. So
I'm not saying it's a great stat.
Take your baseball stats away, Michael.
I'm not saying it's a great stat. Where's Josh Allen in QBR then?
Get your advanced Ligma stats out of here.
Where's Josh Allen in QBR?
Let me look. What do you think, he's higher or lower? I think he's higher.
Yeah, he probably is. So is Josh Allen is not good? He didn't play well?
Well, he probably wasn't 19th in yards. First in QBR.
Oh, that's a bad stat. He didn't play well today either. I don't know. See? That's what it sounds like. You're a Packer hater. That's why. You can't just talk.
He's actually bad.
We got to talk ball on this pod.
I think he threw an interception in almost every single game he played this year.
Caleb
Williams broke the record for most consecutive pass attempts without an interception. Not that means he's good, but Jordan Love is
most
bad.
consecutive
actually bad.
Most consecutive rookie.
No, then he broke the other record too.
Jordan Love just had 419 straight. It was the longest one active behind Patrick Mahomes.
Caleb was on there too.
Boring offenses, though.
That's not possible.
I'm telling you, it was the longest active streak, 419.
I don't believe you.
It was on the TV
Fake
today.
News. Oh, so now you just agree with what the news says all the time.
But anyways, Packers, they look bad. I didn't think the Eagles looked great either. I thought their defense looked good, but their offense looked like crap. I do not think the Eagles are as big as a threat as they think they are. But that being said, I think they're a more complete team than the Lions are because the Lions do not have a great defense currently. I think they are very banged up, and they still control the NFC.
I agree. I don't think that's really faltering the Lions. They've had this defense for months now.
No. It's not. It's not. I'm just saying I think that's where I kind of give the edge to the Eagles.
That they have a better defense than Detroit right now?
Yes.
We'll see. Darius Slay with his first interception of a playoff game today. I don't know. I think Detroit's
Was it his first
better.
Too? I thought it was just Quinyon Mitchell's. I thought Quinyon Mitchell got his first pick ever.
I'm pretty sure they said Slay.
Oh wow! I thought it was Mitchell because that would make more sense because he's a rookie. That's why I thought it was him. Yeah. Oh wow! I didn't know Slay was his first one. That's a crazy stat too.
Could be wrong. Could have heard the TV wrong, but it was on Slay's interception. He was the one who caught the interception on the vertical ball where he was like stride for stride with him and he just caught it. Yeah. Other than that, Jordan Love is ass. Justin Herbert is ass. I'm taking the Ravens. I'm taking the Chiefs. What if the Chiefs just lose? That would make me happy.
I wish, but I don't think so.
Lions are going to beat up on the Commanders. That's going to be good because I don't like that Jaden Daniels won a playoff game in his rookie year. The Bears are going to mess up the coach.
Yeah, last game we'll go over real quickly before we get to our ad read. Washington, Tampa Bay. Jaden Daniels, a great game at the end. Beats Tampa Bay. I don't know why they weren't kicking field goals. Very confused by the Commanders. Bad fumble by Baker, but big win for Washington. Big win for Washington.
I don't know how they're doing it. Cliff Kingsbury, their offensive coordinator, everyone was saying that their offenses fall off after like 7 weeks into the season, and they kept it up pretty good. Jaden Daniels is ice cold. He's very composed. He may not be like the best. I mean, he's a great runner. He may not be like the number one passer in the league, but obviously he's very good. He's a problem. I think the Bears still would have probably screwed him up. But Jaden Daniels is a problem. We'll see what they're able to do. They got the Lions next, so that'll probably be belt to ass for the Lions, but got to give it up to Jaden Daniels.
And we got a fact check here real quickly. Caleb Williams doesn't even have the record for the rookie most attempts without a pick because Bo Nix has it, 567, and Caleb Williams has 562. Sorry to break your bubble.
I hate my life.
But other than that, great weekend. Minnesota, LA tomorrow should be a really good game. Shout out to SoCal. Obviously, I'm here. Luckily, not affected. But LA is going to be playing in Arizona for the game, so that'll be interesting. But going to be a good game. Sam Darnold, let's see if he continues to play his best or if he really does turn into the pumpkin we think he is. So it'll be a big game for him. Stafford's a good team. McVay's a good coach. So very interested to see how that game goes.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. More playoffs are here. NFL is really just grinding my gears these days. So we'll talk about that a little more in Outside the Line. But for now, we'll break it off. We'll do our ad read, our clutch moment of the week.
Our clutch moment of the week is brought to you by Shore Metals, serving Southern California since 1970. Big enough to serve you and small enough to know you. See Stan, he'll help you out. Joey, who's your clutch moment of the week?
My clutch moment of the week goes out to Deshaun Watson's Achilles for getting torn a second time.
God.
Now, obvious setback in his recovery, tore his Achilles during the season this year, was questionable to start the season, now retore it again. He posted a video online of him traveling the world with his girl, and he wasn't wearing his walking boot, and apparently he was supposed to be at this time. He's just a short time post-surgery right now, so definitely should be taking recovery more seriously than traveling the world, but based on insurance and a couple clauses in the contract, it looks like the Browns may be able to save some money from him tearing his Achilles a second time. So the clutch moment of the week goes out to Deshaun Watson's Achilles for getting torn a second time this year.
Wow. I think a lot of our Cleveland friends will appreciate that clutch moment of the week. I definitely saw that.
That's for you, underdog. That's for you.
The TikTok, though, I will say I saw that's going to really actually be an issue for the insurance. So kind of crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Clutch moment of the week for me was Jake. He was obviously at the game, but he was networking for us at the Cotton Bowl, going to help us set up an interview with an influencer with over 100,000 followers. So Let's go. Cool. Jake, shout out to him. Always working, always be networking, even in the biggest moments. And maybe he was doing it hammered, so that was good. So good for Jake. Clutch moment of the week to Jake and our boys, our young Wrongsiders and Bino for being there for the game. So shout out to our boys.
Big time. Clutch moment of the week, the young Wrongsiders crew, boots on the ground. Possible more boots on the ground in Atlanta next week. We'll see there. And Deshaun Watson's Achilles. Now we'll break out for Outside the Line. All right, wrapping it up with Outside the Line as we burn towards the national championship game. Starting out with Tone Deaf Person of the Week. Michael, who you got?
Okay. My tone deaf person of the week, and I've been really a big advocate, I think, of this one over the last couple of weeks, especially maybe not on the podcast, but just with friends and stuff. College football haters. I think they are my tone deaf person of the week for a couple reasons. They hate college football. They say it's not a good product. I get it, whatever. College football rocks, first of all.
College football rocks.
Second of all, and yeah, I'm okay saying it. It's biased because my team rocks. That helps. My team rocking helps my interest in college football more than NFL. No doubt. I have no problem saying that. That being said, the people that think college football is so bad and they stink and it's always the same teams, let me paint a picture for you guys. It's the same teams in the NFL almost every year. Yeah. Now, maybe the teams aren't the same from the 1950s till now that are dominating. Like the Patriots aren't dominating as much as they obviously were 5-10 years ago, but it's the same group of teams that are at the top every time for every 20 years. Every 20 years it changes. So it's the same group of teams. So maybe it's a little different than like Ohio State, Notre Dame, Bama, like all those top teams. Whatever.
Well, it's always college football. State. They're the only team that's always in there.
College football haters, let me put this to you. Everyone completely crushed college football for the first round of the 12-team playoff. It's horrible, bad product. Why did we expand it? Let me paint a picture for you. The first round of the college football playoff, there were 4 games. The average margin of victory was by 19.25 points.
A lot of points.
A lot of points. This year, the NFL, so far in 5 games with one more to go, so could go up, is at 14.6 points margin of victory. Still more than 2 scores. You need 2 scores for each league, college football and NFL. It is asinine to say that's what matters. Oh, the games aren't good. Guess what? The NFL isn't good. It hasn't been good all season.
It's been a bad season, yeah.
And 2, the margin of victory is just about last year, the college football playoff semis had a smaller margin of victory than the NFL first round. It was even bigger. And the games last year were good. There was like one good game, one blowout. So, and it was, I think it was also this year's first round of playoffs was less than last year's NFL first round of NFL playoffs. So the haters that say, it's like good. I saw the meme today, like right before we started recording. It was the one where it's like, oh, you're so cute. And then it's someone telling them the same, like, hello, human resources. It was like the first round of the NFL playoffs and the first round of the college football. Just sucks. I hate the college football haters. You guys hate it. Like, I'm sorry you may have not gone to a bigger school or you don't get it, but the tradition, everything is so much better in college. Like, I understand NFL might get better ratings. Congratulations, get your ratings. It's a bad game, just as bad as college football. So I think the people that hate in college football, losers, tone deaf.
I agree. College football is the best. The pageantry, the tradition, all of it is good. The NFL is tanking. I think a lot of professional sports leagues right now may not be the product they were back in the day. Obviously, still gets the ratings as a professional sport, but college football is great. The 12-team playoff has delivered. We are still sheep, and we will all still be watching these shitty Thursday night games that they continue to put out there.
Exactly. What about you? Tone deaf person of the week.
My tone deaf person of the week. Bears. It's always the Bears. I wanted to talk about it this week. Usually I try my best not to talk about it. The interview schedule, the whole thing.
Yeah.
Just not even just the whole thing. So George McCaskey, he is the president and like active chairman of the Bears. His mother, Virginia, sweet Virginia, recently celebrated, I believe it was her 102nd birthday. George doesn't know football. George doesn't know football at all. He gets too involved in the process. He's been in front of cameras a lot this year. I think at one point he was walking through the tailgates of Soldier Field and people were chanting "Fire Eberflus" at him. But they asked him, like, do you think that the timeline for the head coach and general manager together, do you think that their timeline being aligned matters for the head coaching search? He's like, no. If you look at pretty much every other team in the league, most often, we've talked about this before, the correct order of doing things. You get the GM and the head coach together, then you get the quarterback. Everyone's on the same page. Not one person isn't fighting for their job while another person's new, and the Bears continue to do things wrong. Ryan Poles had a press conference last week. He looked scared, like he didn't know like exactly how he was supposed to answer some of these questions. And now the Bears are interviewing everyone on this planet except for me, where I think I would be the best man for the job in this game.
Do you think you'll get an interview?
I might. We're gonna post this clip, and I am putting my hat in the ring for the Bears' vacant head coaching position. So I hope so. It seems like they're interviewing practically everyone else under the sun. Recently, you said it earlier, they have requested to interview Marcus Freeman, the head coach of Notre Dame. They requested to interview Mike McCarthy from the Cowboys. Cowboys denied it, which I thought was interesting, but they're interviewing Matt Campbell from Iowa State, obviously Ben Johnson. I did hear the Ben Johnson interview went really well. Vrabel has signed with the Patriots at this point, so he's committed there. But I don't get it. I don't think that a wide search necessarily means a better search. The Bears just obviously historically have not done well in this. You know that the prize here is likely Ben Johnson. He's a first-time head coach. It could go poorly there too, but there's a lot of reasons why it should be Ben Johnson. So the Bears, even when I thought I had escaped them for the year, early offseason is already it's already getting to me, and I hate it so much. So that is my
You gotta be like Big Cat. Like he said, even if they get Ben Johnson, he's gonna be at a 6 out of 10. I'm excited.
I'm never gonna get excited, but I still have to see them be embarrassing and stupid all the time. And then people in the group chats are like, Joey, why'd the Bears do this? If I was the coach, I would tell you. That's why I need to be the coach, to get Moops and the group chat off my back.
And you know
Moops
what?
is mean to me about the Bears just because the Browns are bad.
If you were the coach, guess what? Couldn't do much worse. I said that about the Angels. It couldn't be much worse.
The Bears,
but all right.
2 longest losing streaks in franchise history happened under Matt Eberflus, to really put that into perspective.
Wow. All right. Good stat. Sickening, but good stat. So college football haters and the Bears still. Let's wrap it up quickly. Wrong and right side. What do you got?
Right side, Marvel Rivals. I'm not sure if you are caught
Oh,
up
you're
on
playing?
Marvel Rivals. We're playing. The boys, I got on it 2-3 days ago. For those of you who don't know, it's a team-based like shooter game where you can play as a bunch of different Marvel characters who all have different abilities. It's a very objective-based game, so you don't just run around shooting each other. You have
Okay.
to capture a point or escort something around. So it's very very strategic, very like skill based. So been enjoying that so far. So right side, like a new hobby, maybe not a new hobby because it's still video games, but I've been enjoying it. So my right side is Marvel Rivals.
I've been seeing a lot of it on Twitter. Like people are loving this game. I just have never played it. So is it
It's
on
free.
PS5 or it's on like
Yeah, it's on PS5.
PC? Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I've never played it, but I've heard it's getting a lot of traction. Like everyone's talking about it, like, oh, Marvel Rivals this, Marvel Rivals this. So
Pretty big right now. It's free, which is huge. I'm not very good at it, but it's all the things on my
fun.
page. I'm diving into the lore deep and the different skill abilities. Like I'm getting active in that. So that's my right side. Wrong side. Ticket prices for the Natty. Joel Clapp
Oh,
brought it up last week. The tax on fans for all of these neutral site games. Like we said, there's going to be some changes to the college football playoff moving forward.
sure.
Obviously, these bowl games are historic. You wouldn't be able to say it's a college football season without a game being played at the Rose Bowl. Shout out Southern California again. I know they all had to get evacuated, so
Right
that
around
would
the
be
Rose Bowl, yeah.
yeah, so that would be absolutely heartbreaking. But obviously, the fans are the ones who pay for that. Tickets are like $1,500 to get in the door in Atlanta right now. I was not able to go to a national championship or experience a win. While as a student, I'm young enough right now to really still get out there, get down there, and enjoy it. I would love to have that opportunity, and it doesn't seem like that's going to be possible for your average person. So my massive wrong side right now is ticket prices at all these neutral site bowl games and all that stuff.
Yeah, I think one thing about those games that suck is these big time games. Now, I'm not saying like a regular playoff game or even like a bowl game or even the NFL, even a regular playoff game. The Super Bowl, the national championship, they have priced out the average fan.
Yeah,
They have priced out the average fan, and that is what hurts. It's a money game. It's they need to get their money, and I get it. I understand that we work in business. We understand
business.
that point,
Hmm.
but the fact of the matter is, you don't get the Ohio State fans like us who are living and dying by every game. You're getting the Ohio State fans that have worked their ass off, and they deserve it. If you've worked your ass off and can afford it, you deserve to go. But maybe the
Hmm.
fans that just have the money can go. They don't really care about the team as much. They just want to say, "Oh yeah, I went to the national championship," versus like, "Yeah, I saved for months to do this, and like I really like this team. I love this team." So like, I agree. Prices suck. I'm really bummed. Jake, obviously, we said it earlier in the episode, didn't get his ticket, but that's gonna suck because he really wanted to go, and he was like, "If I don't get one, like I can't go." He's like, as a student, like I literally cannot afford $2,000 ticket. He's like, I can't do it.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it's terrible. I think that's terrible, and you're absolutely right. And I mean, we've had what Biden tried to do it, Trump tried to do it. It didn't matter what the president was. Like they've tried to get the Ticketmaster or like game time fees all the way down, but like all these
Yeah.
until we get a president that can do that, it's gonna be
I think
bad.
we put that in our campaign promises already.
We did. That was earlier in our campaign, obviously.
Sweet.
But we're good people. But yeah, that's bad. I agree with you 100%. My right and wrong side are wrong side quickly is busy season basically starting tomorrow. Gonna be a long 2 months. Not looking forward to it. A lot of long hours. Definitely gonna long weekends. I'm nervous about recording because I know I shouldn't be nervous. I should be more focused on work, but I'm nervous about recording and finding time to do that. Interviews, that kind of stuff. Along with that, also just like every day, going to the office every day, gonna be busy late nights, won't
Every
be at home
day.
as much. Yeah, I mean, maybe this week's not every day, but like most weeks, it's gonna be 3 to 4 times a week, and then
Okay.
all of February, probably 4 or 5 times a week. So it's gonna be a busy couple months, but these are the most important months of the year. I think spin zone of a wrong side of it being busy is a chance to always show you can be better. And I've been trying to get better and like do good on things I work on. So spin zone is chance to improve and chance to show what you got, but it's going to suck. Long hours. Not excited for
Yeah.
it. Definitely going to bring down my sports watching. And luckily the Cowboys are in it. And hopefully by next Monday, which I will be at the office for, hopefully win and I can write off busy season as a champion. So but the wrong side is busy season. But right side is this weekend. Although it is busy season, I asked about a month and a half ago to do this. Friday, I'm also working. I'm not working. I'm not even getting a day off, but I will be working. But this weekend, going to Charlotte and Charleston, check out some hospitals for Meg on the residency recruitment trip. We'll see what the area is like. I've never been to either spot, and the recruitment trip, the residency run is starting to really pick up steam, and I'm glad I'll have busy season to stay busy. She's going to be busy with her stuff and going on a service trip in February. But the residency trip and residency match list is picking up steam. It's going to be March 21st before we know it.
That'll be sweet. That'll be a good opportunity for you to see Meg. I know, long flight,
Yeah.
but your new life potentially right around the corner for you.
Right.
So that's exciting. Maddie has been deep into apartment talks already, so we would move in together in May. So obviously not quite as stressful of a situation as you're in, but I can relate to a lot of
still
the
exciting and stressful.
About. Yes, exciting and stressful all the way around. So hopefully that's a good trip. You guys find some stuff that you really like there. But yeah, busy season. We'll be back. That's where we started last year. So we've done this before. We'll be okay.
You're right.
You've done this before for work, so it sucks, but that's why we do it. That's why you come to PWC for busy seasons like this.
Right. Right, exactly. But that's our show. Happy Wrong Side Wednesday. Let's hope and pray. My parents are looking at me right here praying. Let's hope and pray by next episode we're number one, we're national champions, and we're going to get a great episode next week for you guys.